BookTube! Welcome back to the History Shelf. I am your host, Peg. Today's video is all about fiction. We've got a variety of historical fiction and just some timely fiction that, Black History Month. We have mysteries and thrillers, on this channel that I read not only just history and historical fiction, big fan of mysteries and thrillers, but lately I've been branching out into more contemporary stuff as well. Some of these are books are under review for different places. Some I don't have an outlet, but I would like to read and get back to you guys on at some point. Where should we start? Let's start with a couple of historical fiction novels that should be out real soon. Let's see. Got one coming out April 11th and one in May. So we'll kind of knock out these two that aren't published yet. We might have a few more here. I'll be reading and reviewing this for Historical Novels Review. And this is called Puppet Flower. Puppet Flower, a novel of 1867 Formosa. Kind of different, huh? This is put out by Columbia University Press. It's coming out April 11th. By the way, I have an extra copy. I accidentally was sent 2 duplicates of this, and this is an advanced reader copy. If anyone's interested in the sound of this novel, let me know, and I'll try and drop it in the mail to you. In 1867, an American merchant ship, the Rover, sank off the coast of southern Taiwan. 14 sailors reached the shore, where almost all were killed by indigenous people. In retaliation, the U.S. launched 2 disastrous military operations against local tribes. Eventually, the U.S. consul to Amoy, Charles Legendre, negotiated a treaty with Takatok, the chief of the 18 tribes of the area, that secured safe passage for shipwrecked sailors. I should have said this is Puppet Flower, a novel of 1867 Formosa. It's by Yao Chang Chen. I'm so sorry I didn't mention the author's name. It's translated by Pao Feng Su, Ian Maxwell, and Tong Jung Chen. Okay, so Yao Chang Chen's historical novel retells the story of the Rover incident, bringing to light its pivotal role in Taiwanese history. Taiwan's pretty big in the news these days. This might be really, a good read just to get a feel for the, I want to say ancient history, but this country goes way back, folks. Merging documented events and literary imagination, the novel vividly depicts Takatok, Legendre, and other historical figures alongside the story of Butterfly, a young woman of mixed ethnic heritage who serves as an interpreter and mediator during the crisis. Chen deftly reconstructs the multi-ethnic and multilingual society of southern Taiwan in the second half of the 19th century from multiple perspectives, portraying local people's daily struggles for survival and their interactions with Han Chinese settlers, Qing Dynasty bureaucrats, and Western officials, tradesmen, adventurers. Let's see, a gripping work of historical fiction, Puppet Flower is a powerful revisionist narrative of a formative moment in Taiwan's past. It was recently adapted into a popular Taiwanese TV miniseries, Sekalu, Formosa, 1867. So Columbia University Press, coming out in April. So I'm excited for that, and I need to start reading that pretty soon. What else do I have here? So the next book I'm reviewing for Historical Novels Review is called Hidden Cargo by Robin Lloyd. It's an advanced reader copy. This is going to be put out by Lyons Press. Lyons Press is an imprint of Rowman and Littlefield. Yeah. So what is Hidden Cargo about? I requested this one because it's kind of in my wheelhouse of historical fiction and where I like to read about. It says here, it's a thrilling tale set in the turbulent aftermath of the Civil War as relations between the U.S. and Spain grow tense over Cuba, where slavery persists and a fierce rebellion brews. 5 months after the end of the Civil War, acting Navy Lieutenant Everett Townsend is awaiting discharge in Key West. The end of the war has left him uncertain about his future and full of regret about the end of his relationship with Emma, the Cuban-American daughter of a Havana boarding house owner. His Spanish grandmother, a slave owner who owns a prosperous sugar plantation in the Cuban countryside, is dreaming that Everett will return and take over the family business, a prospect that sickens him. Returning from, oh boy, they really get into it. Okay, I don't want to give away a lot because if I keep reading from the pub sheet, let's just try to skip away. There's a lot of stuff that's going on here. Let me just read this one section. Returning from a routine supply mission from Fort Jefferson in the dry Tortugas, he and his men are caught in a hurricane and witness a shipwreck in the Marquesas Keys. Where's it, Keys? When they investigate, they discover a locked cargo hold with the dead bodies of black freedmen. When Townsend reports this unsettling incident to his distracted naval commander in Key West, he's encouraged to drop the matter. But he can't shake his suspicions that the poor souls from the cargo hold were destined for re-enslavement in the sugar fields of Spanish Cuba. So it goes into more like trying to solve the mystery of what's going on. It says as he grapples with a clash of personalities, Townsend uncovers the details of a conspiracy which forces him to come face to face with his own family's close ties to slavery. So that sounds really good. A little over about it's a 300-page book. This is coming out in May 11th. Nope, not 11th, just May. It doesn't give me a date. But I am slated to review this, and I need to start reading this as well. My review is due March 15th on both of these books. So that will be some of my history reading coming up. Oh yes, the other big mamma jamma that I'll be reading, and I'll be reviewing this big brick of a book for one of my favorite places to review, the Book Browse Review. Normally I do a lot of nonfiction and history reviews for them, but every now and then I'll do a fiction, and this comes highly recommended from the editor, and I think she's curious to see what my thoughts are on this. So I've never heard of this author, but I did pick up his previous book after I read about this book. But this comes out May 2nd. I guess this could be new fiction on the horizon. Maybe again make a new series here. It's a big chunkster of a book. It's called The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese. And he wrote a book which I was going to show you anyway, because where is it? I bought his first book because I was like, well, I thought maybe I'd have time to read this first book before I launch into this one. I don't think so. Not with my reading and review schedule. I don't think I can. But he also wrote Cutting for Stone, and I guess this is the one, I guess this was like rave reviews, Cutting for Stone. So this is out now. I just picked this up off of Amazon. Okay, but I'm just going to tell you that I got that one, right? But this is the one I'll be reading and reviewing. So what is Covenant of Water about? As you can see, it's a big, thick book. It's being put out by Grove Atlantic. Yes, I'm getting to know the logos so well now. Don't even need to see the words. The Covenant of Water is the long-awaited new novel by Abraham Verghese, the author of the major word-of-mouth bestseller, Cutting for Stone, which has sold over 1.5 million copies in the U.S. alone, and remained on the New York Times bestseller list for over 2 years. I had no idea. I had never even heard of both of these, or either one of. Spanning the years 1900 to 1977, The Covenant of Water is set in Kerala, on South India's Malabar coast, and follows 3 generations of a family that suffers a peculiar affliction. In every generation, at least one person dies by drowning, and in Kerala, water is everywhere. At the turn of the century, a 12-year-old girl from Kerala's long-existing Christian community, grieving the death of her father, is sent by boat to her wedding, where she will meet her 40-year-old husband for the first time. From this unforgettable new beginning, the young girl and future matriarch known as Big Amachi will witness unthinkable changes over the span of her extraordinary life, full of joy and triumph, as well as hardship and loss, her faith and love the only constants. A shimmering evocation of a bygone India and of the passage of time itself, The Covenant of Water is a hymn to progress in medicine and to human understanding, and a humbling testament to the difficulties undergone by past generations for the sake of those alive today. Imbued with humor, deep emotion, and the essence of life, it is one of the most masterful literary novels published in recent years. So heck yeah, I want to get on top of that one. And I like big, thick novels. You know, I just feel like there's something good going on here. It's over 700 pages, so my review is due in early April. So I think I'm going to start this in March, probably very early March, just so I'm not like trying to rush. Sounds fantastic. And then once I'm done with this, and then I can schedule some time to read his first wonderfully best-selling first book, Cutting for Stone. Okay. Well, what else does the Pegster have for you guys? Tell you what. Oh yeah, so okay. I meant to mention this book. I still would like to try to squeeze this in for the tail end of February. I don't know. I might have to read it on Monday and Tuesday for Black History Month. But I wanted to mention. I don't know if I have a final copy of this. I don't think I do, but. This has been getting a lot of buzz on the different book reviewing sites that I visit, and I think you guys are probably familiar with. But it's called Decent People by Deshaun Charles Winslow. And I wanted to get this. I fell behind on some stuff, and life happened. But I wanted to read this as part of like my fiction contribution to reading during Black History Month. And this book is, it's been out since last month. In the still segregated town of West Mills, North Carolina in 1976, Marion, Marva, and Lazarus Harmon, three enigmatic siblings, are found shot to death in their home. The people of West Mills, on both sides of the canal that serves as the town's color line, are in a frenzy of finger-pointing, gossip, and wonder. The crime is the first reported murder in the area in decades, but the white authorities don't seem to care or have any interest in solving the case. Fortunately, one person is determined to do more than talk. Ms. Jo Wright has just moved back to West Mills from New York City to retire and marry a childhood sweetheart, Olympus Limp Seymour. When she discovers that the murder victims are Limp's half-siblings and that Limp is one of West Mills' leading culprits, she sets out on a transformative manhunt to prove his innocence. Propulsive and thought-provoking, Decent People is a brilliant novel about shame, race, money, and the reckoning required to heal a fractured community. So this one's out now. You guys, if that sounds of interest to you, check it out at your library, or I'm sure you'll find it around. I thought they had sent me a finished copy. Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. This is fine for me. I'll be happy to read this. Okay, moving on. This book comes out next month, March 14th. Another fantastic sounding like historical fiction that is, I like reading internationally. And this is a new international author. And this is called Dust Child. It's by Win Fen K Mai. I know I've got the Win part. Win Fen, I think K Mai is the way you pronounce it. And she is the best-selling author of The Mountains Sing. So what is Dust Child about? Well, it sounded really good to me. I had the publicist reach out and I said, yes, I would like to read this. Where we have here. In 1969, sisters Trang and Quinn, desperate to help their parents pay off debts, leave their rural village and become bar girls in Saigon, drinking, flirting, and more with American GIs in return for money. As the war moves closer to the city, the once innocent Trang gets swept up in an irresistible romance with a young and charming American helicopter pilot, Dan. Decades later, Dan returns to Vietnam with his wife, Linda, hoping to find a way to heal from his PTSD and reckon with secrets from his past. At the same time, Phong, the son of a black American soldier and a Vietnamese woman, embarks on a search to find both his parents and a way out of Vietnam. Abandoned in front of an orphanage, Phong grew up being called the Dust of Life, Black American imperialist, and child of the enemy, and he dreams of a better life for himself and his family in the U.S. Past and present converge as these characters come together to confront decisions made during a time of war, decisions that force them to look deep within and find common ground across race, generation, culture, and language. So this sound, I don't know how to describe for you guys like what will flip a switch in my mind about, yes, this is something I would like to read, because it takes a lot for me to want to pick up a fiction book unless it's really well done. There's elements of history, how it impacted people's lives on a very personal level. In this case, Vietnam, the ghost of Vietnam. And if it ties in to something within history in a very believable and well-written way, I'm all about it. So I tend to accept these type of books over others because I just feel like there's something of value here that you can kind of take away about humanity. So I'm really excited to read Dust Child. This is put out by Algonquin Books and it's coming out March 14th. All right. For you Penguin Classics fan, I was sent this a little while ago. It's out right now because obviously I've got a finished copy. But this is something new. I've never heard about this before. This is the memorial feast for Kokotoi Khan, a Kyrgyz epic poem in the Manas tradition. All right, so make sure I'm focused there. All right, so sometimes I get notifications on new Penguin Classics coming out, which is always a thrill. So I definitely thought this was of historic import, and I wanted to take a look. It says here, the bard Sangkhembe Orazbak Ulu composed his oral telling of the great Central Asian Manas epic in the early 20th century, although it draws on far older sources. This vivid episode from his narrative tells the bravura story of an uncertain new Khan, Bakhmuran, who holds a great feast to commemorate his predecessor, Kokotoi. From east and west, warriors and their turbulent retinues come to compete in horse races, jousting and wrestling, and soon insults are hurled and scores settled violently. Yet none can beat the supreme hero, the mighty, truculent Manas. By turns earthy, stirring, bombastic, and funny, Sagambe's work stands as a monument to the oral culture of a nomadic people. And, oh yeah, I should say this is translated by Daniel Pryor. And it says here, Daniel Pryor's landmark translation includes a how to read the epic section, that's helpful, commentary, and maps and illustrations. Fabulous! Oh, I love it! I wonder, has anyone else heard of this book before? Like, we have all these different events in BookTube. You've got your, what is that thing we do? The Norse thing where we read the Norse, myths and legends, and here's the author, Sagambe. Sagambe, what is your last name, sir? Orazbuk Ulu. Yes, but has anyone, I know, with Gilgamesh, we've got Beowulf, we got all those different things, but has anyone heard of the Manas tradition? Or Kyrgyz, I guess it's, the Kyrgyz people. It's fascinating, and I like learning about new people, and not new people, they've been around. It's been a long day, guys. So thank you to Penguin Classics. I can't wait to check this one out. Okay, this one is out. I keep meaning I think I've mentioned it to you before. I think this is another book where I have doubles of. I'm not sure, but let me check. But if you're interested in this and I have a double, let me know in the comments below. This came out at the end of January, so I'm a few weeks behind in letting you know, but it's out right now. This is Daughters of Nantucket by Julie Gerstenblatt, and it's put out by Mira Books. Okay. And this also sounded really, really interesting to me. Look there's the whale. Just got the whale in the brain since my buddy read with Patrice with Moby Dick not too long ago. So still thinking about whales. It says here, Nantucket in 1846 is an island set apart not just by its geography but by its unique circumstances. With their menfolk away at sea, often for years at a time, women here know a rare independence and the challenges that go with it. Eliza Macy is struggling to conceal her financial trouble as she waits for her whaling captain husband to return from a voyage. In desperation, she turns against her progressive ideals and targets Meg Wright, a pregnant free black woman trying to relocate her store to Main Street. Meanwhile, astronomer Maria Mitchell loves running Nantucket's Athenaeum and spending her nights observing the stars, yet she fears revealing the secret wishes of her heart. On a sweltering July night, a massive fire breaks out in town, quickly kindled by the densely packed wooden buildings. With everything they possess now threatened, these three very different women are forced to reevaluate their priorities and decide what to save, what to let go, and what kind of life to rebuild from the ashes of the past. That sounds fantastic. This is Julie Gerstenblatt's first novel. Congratulations, there's our author. This is my advanced reader copy, but there's our author right there. Can I get, you gonna focus? Focus. Okay. Well, anyway, Daughters of Nantucket. This is out right now. It's a nice, good size read, and I kind of want to revisit Nantucket without having to set foot on a whaling ship, because Moby Dick was quite the adventure. All right, what else do we have here? Oh, I'm excited to show you guys this one. I'm at 20 minutes. Let's keep plowing through here. Oh, I got a rip on this book. Oh, I don't think I did it, but you know what? Thanks to the good people at, oh, is this the Modern Library? And who's the publisher of Modern Library? Just the Modern Penguin, I think Penguin Random House. This looks like, I have to flip a coin on which book I can read first because they all sound fantastic. This is The Betrothed. This is out right now. This is by Alessandro Manzoni, translated and with an introduction by Michael F. Moore. And they have a preface by Jhumpa Lahiri, and we all know who Jhumpa Lahiri is. And yes, if you're finding a theme lately in my fiction reading, I do read a lot of translated literature, fiction, and I'm really liking it. I like experiencing stories in other voices and seeing through different lenses. So this is another translated work, and let me read to you a little bit about what this is. The Betrothed is a cornerstone of Italian culture, language, and literature. Okay, listen to this. Published in its final form in 1842, the novel has inspired generations of Italian readers, writers, and artists. Giuseppe Verdi composed his majestic Requiem Mass in honor of Manzoni. Italo Calvino called The Betrothed a classic that has never ceased shaping reality in Italy, while Umberto Eco praised its author as a most subtle critic and analyst of languages. The Betrothed has been celebrated by Primo Levi and Natalia Ginzburg and is one of Pope Francis's favorite books. But until now, it has remained relatively unknown to English readers. This is why I'm really excited to read this. In the fall of 1628, two young lovers are forced to flee their village on the shores of Lake Como after a powerful lord prevents their marriage, plunging them into the maelstrom of history. Manzoni draws on actual people and events to create an unforgettable fresco of Italian life and society. In this greatest of historical novels, he takes the reader on a journey through the Spanish occupation of Milan, the ravages of war, class tensions, social injustice, religious faith, and a plague that devastates northern Italy. But within Manzoni's epic tale, readers will also hear powerful echoes of our own day. And Michael F. Moore's dynamic new translation brings to life Manzoni's timeless literary masterpiece. So this Modern Library edition, as you know, modern libraries, well, they usually had a different look, but if you take the jacket off, sorry about that. Where's the, oh yeah, got that guy right there. It's a beautiful hardcover. I've got a couple of nicks on the side. I don't know what happened in shipping, but I'm excited for this, you guys. I've never heard of this before, and who knew? It's almost 700 pages, and it's one of Pope Francis's favorite books. What are you going to do? Check it out. The Betrothed. What next? What do we have time for? Okay, let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Talking to myself. I've got two books here from Algonquin. This is Algonquin books. I think I just showed you one. This one looks kind of fun. This is out right now. This is Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung. They're stories. They're short stories, and they sound really good because there's like a hint of horror in these or something, and I kind of like that. It says, from an author never before published in the U.S., Cursed Bunny will shock and surprise readers with each new tale. Translated by the acclaimed Anton Herr, Bora Chung's stories are unique and imaginative, by turns thought-provoking and stomach-turning, where monsters take the shapes of furry woodland creatures and danger lurks in unexpected corners of apartment buildings. But in this unforgettable collection, Chung's absurd, haunting universe could be our own, illuminating the ills of our contemporary society. So I wasn't going to say no to that. Another book that is out right now from Algonquin Books, Factory Girls, a novel. It's kind of some history. It's a historical fiction, and this is by Michelle Gallen, author of Big Girl, Small Town. So this one came out in December. So what is this one about? Let's see. It's the summer of 1994, and all Maeve Murray wants are good final exam results so she can earn her ticket out of the wee Northern Irish town she has grown up in during the Troubles. Away from her crowded home, the silence and sadness surrounding her sister's death, and most of all, away from the simmering violence of her divided community. That's why I was drawn to this book. As you know, my partner is Irish. She lived in Ireland during the Troubles, so I was like, yes, I'd like to read this. As a first step, Maeve's taken a summer job in a local shirt factory, working alongside Protestants with her best friends, kind, innocent Carolyn Jackson, and privileged and clever. Oh, where's Martine when you need her to translate Irish names? Aoife O'Neill. It's spelled A-O-I-F-E. Martine will take me to task for not knowing how to pronounce that. But getting the right exam results is only part of Maeve's problem. She's got to survive a tit-for-tat paramilitary campaign, iron 100 shirts an hour all day, every day, and deal with the attentions of Andy Strawbridge, her slick and untrustworthy English boss. Those tricky English. What seems to be a great opportunity to earn money before starting university turns out to be a crucible in which Maeve is tested in ways she may not be equipped to handle. Seeking justice for herself and her fellow workers may just be Maeve's one-way ticket out of town. Says this novel is perfect for like fans of the Netflix series Dairy Girls, which I haven't watched yet, but I want to. And novels by Douglas Stewart, Roddy Doyle, and Anna Burns. So Factory Girls, out right now. I'm intrigued. Next book on the list. Oh, I meant to mention this one to you. This one skipped my radar, but this is, I think this came out in January. More, it sounds really great. This is The Vienna Writers' Circle. Belonging to it is a death sentence. It's a novel by J.C. Metis, or Metis. I have the advanced review copy. Oh, I'm sorry, it came out not too long ago. Valentine's Day. This published on Valentine's Day. So, yes, let's get into this one. Spring 1938. Café Mozart in the heart of Vienna is beloved by its clientele, including cousins Matthias Kramer and Johannes Nahmel. The two writers are as close as brothers. They are also members of Freud's Circle, a unique group of the famed psychiatrist's friends and acquaintances who once gathered regularly at the bright and airy cafe to talk about books and ideas over coffee and pastries. Doesn't this sound magnificent? I would just like to meet up with some of you and just have, you know, tea, I don't drink coffee, and pastries and just talk books. Wouldn't that be fun? That'd be fun. I kind of long for that. Okay, this says here, but dark days are looming. When Hitler's annexation of Austria, or with his annexation of Austria, Nazi edicts governing daily life become stricter and more punitive. Now Hitler has demanded that the hidden Jews of Vienna be tracked down, and Freud's Circle has been targeted. The SS aims to use old group photos to identify Jewish intellectuals and subversives. With the vice tightening around them, Matthias and Johannes' only option appear to be hiding in plain sight, using assumed names and identities to evade detection, aware that discovery would mean consignment to a camp or execution. Yeah. Faced with stark and desperate choices, Matthias, Johannes, their families and friends all find their loyalties and courage tested in unimaginable ways. But despite betrayal, heartache, and imprisonment, hope remains, and with it, the determination to keep those they love alive. All right. Very cool. So this sounds really interesting. I love it. Coffee, books, ideas, and pastries. I mean, love it. Okay, so this is out right now. Again, this is by Mira Books. I said that, Mira Books. All right. Oh, and this is Oh, that's right. I don't know if I've shown you this one yet, you guys, but this is put up by Melville House Publishing. There's another one in this series that I have that I want to read first before I go to this one. But this is Gehring's Gold by Richard O'Raw, and this is a Ructions O'Hare novel. Look at that. So the other one I have of him is called Northern Heist. I have that in hardcover. I haven't read it yet, but I mean to, and I think this is like the sequel, because he writes about this character, Ructions O'Hara. Isn't that a great name? This is the second in the Ructions O'Hara series. Okay, it says here, when World War II ended, the Allies discovered that a huge amount of gold bullion plundered by Nazi Reichsmarshal Hermann Goering had gone missing. Some believed the gold had been hidden in a train boxcar in Poland, others that it was secreted in Lake Toplitz in the Austrian Alps, and a few thought it was buried in the Republic of Ireland, which was neutral during the war. When ex-IRA soldier Ructions O'Hare stumbles on a piece of Nazi memorabilia once owned by Goering, he begins to think that those who suspect the gold was in Ireland just might be onto something. But for Ructions, to return to Ireland is easier said than done. For a start, the IRA is after him for not paying them a cut from a huge bank robbery he carried out in Belfast. And then there's the neo-Nazis, who believe that Gehring's gold rightfully belongs to them, and who are happy to kill anyone who gets in their way. And as Ructions gathers clues to the gold's location, and as his many adversaries realize he's getting closer, it's as if a noose is tightening around his neck. So again, another book kind of set in Ireland. I got an Irish character. I'm really excited for this. But I want to go back and read Northern Heist first, because that must be the bank robbery that they're referring to, which was in Northern Heist. I could show you Northern Heist if you give me a moment. Oh my gosh. I'm going to keep these two together. So this is Northern Heist. Got this in hardcover. This was the final copy. Yeah, I got two final copies. So some good reading here, guys. And again, the author's name is Richard O'Raw, if you're interested in his work. Yes, we've got so much fiction. 32 minutes in. Okay, gosh, I'm running out of time here. Okay, trying to get it all in. All right, next book I was contacted about. It's out right now because I did get a finished copy. It sounds so fun. It sounds very different and fun and dark. This came out in November, actually. It's a Berkeley book, Berkeley hardcover. This is called All the Blood We Share. All the Blood We Share, a novel of the bloody benders of Kansas. And it's by Camilla Bruce. Look at this cover. There's a pentagram here. What's going on? The spine is really cool. Again, it looks like you've got some stuff going on here. It's his historical fiction, but it's got a dark twist. Okay. I'm going to read from the pub sheet while you look at this fascinating cover. Okay. This is a spellbinding, fictionalized account inspired by the true story of a gruesome family of serial killers in the 1800s. Wow. The novel is based on the real Bloody Benders, a family of serial killers in the 1800s Midwest, bound by butchery and obscured by the shadows of American history. It's a riveting exploration of female rage that bonds generations as mother and daughter learn to kill together. Wow. All right. The infamous Bender family, more well known as the Bloody Benders, lived and operated in Labette County, Kansas, from May 1871 to December 1872. The family of four made a living through murder and robbery. They committed horrific acts of violence and then seemed to simply vanish. In All the Blood We Share, something dark and twisted has taken root at the Bender Inn. At first, the townspeople of Cherryvale welcome the rising medium Kate Bender and her family. Kate's messages from beyond give their tedious dreams hope, and her mother's potions cure their little ills for a price. No one knows about their other business, the shortcut to a better life. It's only from those who are marked, those who travel alone and can easily disappear, that the benders demand their pound of flesh. But even a gifted seer like Kate can make a misstep. Now, as the secrets festering beneath the soil of the family orchard threaten to bring them all to ruin, the benders must sharpen their craft or vanish themselves. Okay, so there's a huge amount of information on this club sheet with a question and answer with the Q&A with the author. But this sounds like fun. History fiction with a kind of a dark turn. So, All the Blood We Share by Camilla Bruce. All right. Let's see if I have enough time here. I've got 3 books from Other Press that I just received in the mail. These are brand new. They're very slim novels. These are all advanced reader copies, and these are all, I believe, works in translation. They are. So let's start with this one. This is a collection of short stories. It's called Mother and Dogs by Fabio Morabito, translated by Curtis Bauer. And these are just short stories that sounded interesting to me. The first story collection from prize-winning author Fabio Morabito, available in English, Mothers and Dogs features 15 tales that show the emotional extremes and seemingly trivial details in quotidian situations. The 2 brothers worry more about a dog locked in an apartment who hasn't been fed than they do about their dying mother. When the lights go out on a racetrack, a man's evening jog turns into a savage battle between runners. A daughter learns to draft business letters as an homage to her mother. So, collection of short stories that comes out May 9th. Very, very slim. The next one I got here is A Son to Be Sown, a novel by Jean Demerque, translated by Thierry Kehu. Sorry guys, not pronouncing the names correctly. This is coming out, I just did, last week. It came out February 21st. This is a brutal fable full of poetry, desire, and blood, where the naivete of a young Haitian girl struggling against impossible odds collides with the unrelenting cruelty of the world. You will be alone in the great night. That's what Papa has always prophesied to her. Papa, who isn't her real father, he disappeared when she was born. Since then, her mother has been forced to walk the streets to provide for herself and her daughter, while Papa robs and murders for the local gang leader to ensure his access to ganja and alcohol, but also for the sheer pleasure of it. Often finding herself alone within the 4 walls of a hovel in a Haitian slum with corrugated iron for a roof, the young girl tirelessly tries to compose a letter that will capture what is in her heart and soul. She is consumed with love for a classmate, the daughter of her teacher, and struggles to find words to faithfully express her feelings and her dreams. In a poetic language that encompasses poverty and idealism, she quietly observes the violence, the shortcomings, and the addictions of the adults around her. Her love and passion make her resilient, nurturing her character and helping her to invent a destiny that enables her to escape the fate to which she seems doomed. Very small little volume, but it's set in Haiti. And again, I just love hearing the voices of people, close to this and close to this experience. And obviously the author is Jean Demerque, born in Haiti in 1994, is a poet, playwright, and novelist. That's fantastic. I love reading works in translation. The third book from Other Press that they just sent me, this is more of a memoir, I believe. Whereas this is called an autobiography. It's called As We Exist, a post-colonial autobiography by, and I apologize for not pronouncing names the way they should be in the appropriate vernacular, but that is part and parcel of me being an American. I don't have... this is Kautar Harchi. Kautar Harchi. Translated by Emma Ramadan. Okay, so there's As We Exist. So what do we have here? Imbued with tenderness for her family and a critical view of the challenges facing French North African immigrants, Kautar Harchi's probing account illustrates the deeply personal effects of political issues. Mixed with happy memories of her childhood home in eastern France are ever-present reminders of the dangers from which her parents sought to shield her. when they transfer her to a private Catholic middle school. Out of fear of Arab boys from their working-class neighborhood, Kautar grows increasingly conscious of her differences and her conflicted sense of self. Notable events in her teens: the passing of a law in 2004 banning religious symbols from public schools, the 2005 deaths of Bouna Traore and Zayed Benna, which sparked riots against police brutality, underscore the injustice of a society that sees Muslims not as equals but as a problem to solve. With elegant, affecting prose, As We Exist charts Kautar's political and intellectual awakening, which would become the heart and soul of her work as a sociologist and writer. This book comes out on March 7th. March 7th is the pub date for As We Exist, a post-colonial autobiography put out by Other Press. Other Press does tons of books that are fiction and translation, so they're doing a really good work there, getting other authors seen that normally wouldn't be seen here. Another Algonquin book. I've been hit up lately a lot by Algonquin, and I'm happy to say I'm liking the assortment of books I'm getting. This sounded fantastic. Well, I'm going to say it sounds fantastic. I'll wait until I read it, but it sounded really interesting because I haven't read a good book in a while that has like a gay character who's, not, it's not like some fluffy, stupid romance book, they just, one of those dime novels that are just trash. This sounds like something that actually might be just quite moving and eloquent. So this is called The Adult. This is the last book I'll highlight for tonight, by Bronwyn Fisher. It's put out by Algonquin Books. It's coming out May 23rd. So this is not out yet, but keep your ears out for that. And there's your author, Bronwyn Fisher. So what's going on with The Adult? 18-year-old Natalie has just arrived at her first year of university in Toronto, leaving her remote, forested hometown for the big, impersonal city. Everyone she encounters seems to know exactly who they are. She reads advice listicles and watches videos online and thinks about how to fit in, how to really become someone, whoever that might be. And then she meets Nora, an older woman who takes an unexpected interest in her and is drawn unstoppably into Nora's orbit. She begins spending more and more of her time off campus at Nora's perfect, tidy home. Natalie lies to her floor mates about her absence, inventing a fake off-campus boyfriend, and carefully protects the sacred adult relationship. This only deepens her obsession, even as she realizes Nora is hiding something. As the secrets multiply and the intensity of the romance threatens to overwhelm her, Natalie realizes that the new adult identity she had imagined for herself is far from the one she's actually growing into. All right. So they're saying that Bronwyn Fisher is a talented, immensely talented new writer to watch. So let's see how this one pans out. It has a lot of the elements of those crappy dime novels that I kind of grew up on for a few years. I was like, what? There's got to be something better. But this one sounds like it could be good. Fingers crossed. The Adult, Bronwyn Fisher, Algonquin Books. So, wow, I'm out of breath, you guys. So those are some upcoming fiction releases and new releases that are out right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed just having something different from history in this video. We've got plenty of fiction out there, and I do get a lot of fiction in the mail as well. So know that I will always have more to share. But in the meantime, BookTube, thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming back to the History Shelf, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.